gone, especially as you prepare for the opener on the road against North Texas, please?
Well, good morning. And obviously coming out of fall camp, we feel that we're a much better football team right now than we were at any point in time last year. A lot of that has to do with just the experience and the continuity of the staff, not losing any of our staff members and playing such a young ball club last year. So second time around is I think experience has helped us a bunch. They know our expectations. They know our culture now. And what we're about, what we stand for, when we step out on that practice field, how we compete, how we approach everything in every context of the manner. So I feel much better coming out of spring, and definitely coming out of fall camp. From a health standpoint, right now we're extremely healthy. We have lost one guy, Chad Pursley, our starting left tackle. We lost him in fall camp, just a kind of a freak incident, and he'll be out for the year. Tore his ACL. Just got a cleat hung in the ground, a non-contact injury basically, and it's usually the way those work. But unfortunate for him because he was playing really well. But if it had to happen, it gave us a chance to have about 2.5 weeks in here to get a solid up offensive line together. But I feel good. I'm excited about where we are. We're in a great frame of mind. Our players are. We're excited to get back out on the football field this Saturday night.
We'll take questions for Coach Chad Morris, please. Star 1 on your keypad to join the queue. The operator will introduce you.
We will now go to Billy Embody with Scott.com.
Hey, Coach. Thanks for doing this morning. How are you?
I'm doing good, Billy. Good to see you. Good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you. Coach, last year you broke into freshman running backs with Xavier Jones and Braden West. You added a lot of depth at that position this offseason. How are you going to manage the carries with guys like Alfonso Thomas and Kimon Freeman and potentially Jordan Carmouche there as well for you?
Well, Billy, one of the things that we feel like, obviously, coming out of last year with Xavier Jones and Braden West, two of the top guys in our conference coming back. Xavier Jones, broke the all-time freshman touchdown mark, surpassing Eric Dickerson here as a freshman last year. And Braden West is one of the top return guys, all-purpose yardage guys in the country coming back. And so excited about those two young men. But like you said, we had to add some depth. Kimon Freeman, a phenomenal athlete out of Liberty Ilu. It was a quarterback for them. Has come in and really has performed at a high level. Alfonso Thomas came in January from Van and had a really good spring. Had a good fall camp. He's a young man that you would love to redshirt. I think he's going to be a really good player for us. I'd love to try to hold him if I can. Definitely have an opportunity to play him if we need to. Jordan Carmouche is one of the bigger backs. It's what we were really needing. A little over 6 foot, 240 right now, and suffered a little bit of injuries early on in fall camp, but is really kind of getting his feet back up underneath him right now. It's had a good last week. Was probably his best week. So again, it's really hard to say right now on those guys. I definitely am going to play. Kimon Freeman's going to play. And then the other two, depending on injury-wise and the health-wise, you'd like to try to hold at least two of those guys, whether that's Alfonso or Jordan Carmouche. So still kind of waiting to see, and they'll all travel with us, and if we have to play them, we'll play them. But my mindset is definitely Xavier Jones, Braden West, Kimon Freeman, and then the other we'll see.
Thanks, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go to Dan Tortora with WakeUpCallDT.com.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing today?
Good morning, Dan.
One of the things that you said in your opening about losing your starting left tackle, just what you can say at that position coming out of camp, how confident are you and other people that stepped up, and just what the line looks like right now at that position and then overall?
Well, anytime you lose, a player such as Chad Pursley, which was one of our top offensive linemen right there, and had so much experience there from last year. It's just unfortunate that you lose a young man like that. And like I shared with him, I mean, he's going to come back stronger and better than ever. And if it had to happen, and I shared with him, if it had to happen, it needed to happen to at a point in time in camp to where we were able to respond and be able to get our group together solidified. And so Nick Natur, a young man that played last year, toward the end of the year, we had to go ahead and he's coming off of just some real minor knee surgery, but he's really gained a lot of confidence and solidified himself at the left tackle. I'm excited about Nick. When he was in there last year, he did a phenomenal job. And so excited about that. Obviously, what it does for you, as everybody in this conference and for the most part, people across the country, is your depth. And so when you lose a player such as Chad Pursley, well, you're going to be fine with your first bunch and your first bunch of 5 and 6 and your 6th guy. But when you start having to play a 7th or an 8th guy, even get to your 9th guy, you better have some depth at this level. The season's a grind. But Nick Natur at our left tackle, I'm excited about him. Jerry Saina and also Braylon Hyder are battling at the guard position. Evan Brown, our center, is on our leadership committee and is having as good a summer and as good a fall camp as anybody I've been around. The offensive line, extremely intelligent. So excited about that. Chauncey Briggs, our right tackle. We got Travis Pfister at a guard and as well. So we've got. I feel comfortable with our eighth guys. In your 9th guy at times, I don't want to play a true freshman in that offensive line. It's really hard to do, but I've got 2 guys in there that for depth purposes that are running with our number 2s right now. So we're hoping to hold them, but we'll see.
And then as far as your quarterback, Matt Davis, just what you can say about how he's kind of handled going through this fall camp and what you've asked of him and pushing him in his leadership role, just what you can say about how he's responded to you and what he's done through the fall.
Well, it's kind of, when you talk about Matt Davis, you can't help but to talk about his leadership skills and what he's done for this football team. Obviously, the year he had last year, I thought early in the year, he was the main reason why we were staying in games, and he was making plays with his feet when the pocket would break down around him. As the year went, I feel like that hurt him because he was looking to run first. He was trying to make the plays. He put a lot on himself, and so I think that caused him to not play as consistent as he did early in the year. And so with us, the additions of the playmakers we got around him right now with the Cortland Suttons and the confidence he has in his running backs, and so I'm hoping that he continues to grow and mature. One thing I found unique, and he and I talked about this actually last spring, was this is the first time since Little League football that he's had the same offensive coordinator and same offensive system for 2 years in a row. And, that's kind of unfortunate for a kid of that caliber and that talent. So excited about him. He did some really good things for us last year, but he's got to do a better job of managing the game and not trying to put everything on himself.
Thanks, Coach. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
And we have time for one more for Coach Morris, please.
We'll now go to Brett Vito with Denton Record Chronicle.
Hey, Coach. How you doing?
Hey, Brett. How you doing this morning?
Oh, not too bad. Hey, can you talk a little bit about the North Texas SMU rivalry?
Well, this has obviously been my second year of it, and I think that it's been from talking to everybody around, and it's been a big rivalry for quite some time. I don't know the consistency of the scheduling of SMU North Texas. I think they've been on and then off and on and off. So, but to have them on the schedule, these two teams for the next several years, it's good. It's good for both communities. It's good for the city of Dallas and for our area. It's good for high school football in this state and especially in this part of Dallas. So I'm excited about it. I know that Coach Luttrell is a phenomenal coach, extremely gifted in his offensive schemes, and he's been around some phenomenal head coaches, and so I think he's excited about his first go of it. The only difference between he and I right now is I'm about 21 months ahead of him, And so I know, as he and I have shared many times before, I just remember back this time last year, my first year, there's so many things that are happening as a first time. And so, but excited about the rivalry, excited about the matchup for this week 1 opener.
Yeah, and could you talk a little bit about how do you scout North Texas at this point? Do you look at what Coach Luttrell did at North Carolina? Is that maybe the best route to go?
Well, you obviously you look at everybody on their coaching staff, and you take a little bit from everybody, and you watch film, you show your kids film, you try to prepare the best you can. But at the end of the day, and this is the way I've always been, and whether I was coaching in Elysian Fields, Texas, or Bay City, or Lake Travis, or Stephenville, these early games like this, you better worry about the SMU Mustangs right now. That's my worry. I'm more worried about the SMU Mustangs and how we come out and how we prepare, and because games like this, you'll find them all across the country that it's a play or two in the special teams that this is the first live reps that you've really gotten in a true game situation. You've got a bunch of young kids out there, and how are they going to respond with the pressures on them? And so you try to simulate that as much as you can in practice. But there's nothing like a game until where you actually can get true game experience. And so, so that's my focus, making sure that we don't overload our players, that we got to be able to know what we're doing. It all boils down to alignment, assignment, and technique. And if you can do those things, you give yourself a chance.